Alright, today I'm going to try to add on a aftermarket power door lock keyless remote entry. Most elements come with, probably already have keyless entry, but my model was so base that it didn't have any keyless entry, so I bought a cheap receiver from Amazon. It was, I think, $13 or something. So the idea is, the power door locks already control all the locks around the car. So if I could just trigger this switch right here, it should unlock everything, no problem. So I'm gonna pull this out and see what color the wires are. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's a positive trigger based on the internet search that I did. Hopefully it's right. And once I get the right colors, I should be able to find underneath here when it comes through the door the right colors and hook up a positive trigger lock and unlock and have a keyless entry. Look here. Let's see. It's basically just three wires. There's the middle wire and then the two switch wires, I assume. The middle one I'm going to have to test to see if it's a positive or a negative signal, and then once I figure that out, I could set up the alarm to be a positive trigger or a negative trigger. This wire, I'm pretty certain it'll come through here, and from there I'll be able to access that wire underneath near where the fuse box is. So I shouldn't have to do any splicing up here. I could do it all down there underneath. So that's the idea. I'm going to figure out what the hookup is and measure with the voltmeter. Alright, so I basically figured out that it's actually a negative trigger pulse that we got. So I have, and once I saw that it was a black wire in the middle, I suspected it was a negative trigger. But one way to tell is right now, what I can do is I can measure just on an ohm meter, and I don't have enough hands to show you this, but we'll see what I can do. Measure the black, that center line, and I touch it to the chassis of the car, and if you can see my voltmeter, it's going to go towards 0 ohms. So that means it's 0, and that's going to be what this toggle switch is triggering. It's going to be sending a ground signal to the left side or the right side. So now that I know it's a negative trigger, I could set up the car alarm to lock and unlock accordingly. So I'm just going to do a quick test to make sure my conclusion is good. So I'm going to put a wire in the middle, in that ground, and I'm going to connect the right side, and there you could hear it and you can't see it, but my door locks went down, and they all went down, and then they all went up. I'm sure you could hear it, and I could see that they all went up. So all I need to do is send a negative pulse to these two wires, and that should do the trick. And I can see the colors. It's white and black, oh no, white and green, white and green, white and black, and white and maybe it's white and blue. Yeah. White wire with a blue stripe and white wire with a green stripe, and I should be able to find that underneath. Alright, so for the wiring diagram, you could see there's a negative trigger diagram. It's this alarm is so cheap. This is the whole instructions, but it's okay. I'm an electrical engineer, and it's not that bad. But so here's the negative trigger diagram. So I'm gonna try to splice the wire and hook it up accordingly and see if it works. Alright, with all the pieces on the ground, I did a quick test routing just to make sure everything's good. Here's my test. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock. So everything's good. This unit is clicking like it should. Let me show you guys where I tapped the power from. There's from the fuse box. I don't know if you can see it from the fuse box. There, I tapped the power from that port right there. It's a live wire. It's always live. It doesn't need the accessories to be on. So I just put a female butt connector on that. And right now I have the ground just clipped to the chassis of the car right there. I'm going to take out one of those bolts and then ground it to that spot. So those are the two spots, and that's really all you need. You need to splice the wire. It's a little hard for you to see, but I didn't even splice the wire. I just took the bare wire and I jammed it into that port where those two lines came in. And it's a good enough connection. You know, it's not a high current connection, so it's not that big of a deal. And I have a tie line, a zip tie, to hold it firm so it won't fall out. So the line is in pretty tight. It's snugged in. And if it falls off, no big deal. I'll just push it back in. But I don't think it'll fall off. It's in there pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to wrap everything up all nice and neat. And then it'll all be underneath there. There's plenty of room back there for this unit. I'm gonna screw it onto something. I'll find something. Okay, this will be the final test. Everything's all put away. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock. So it seems like it's working well. No problems.